What is up? What's going on, everyone? Happy Veterans Day to all of the veterans out there. I wanted to jump on and share a little bit today. Just it is a wonderful day where we celebrate all those who have served over the years in our armed services for our great nation, and really salute to all the veterans. Just got back home from a great service they had at the elementary school, so shout out to Sailors Land, and they did a phenomenal job honoring the veterans of the families that for the kids to attend there. So I was super proud, especially for me. It means a lot this Veterans Day because I'm actually retired now and fully licensed with my veteran status and got the different card, active cat card, and traded it in. I ain't got my hat yet, but shout out to all the veterans, especially like right now where we are. We have a lot going on in regards to the government, and a lot of times you have I would say a lot of divisiveness that's in the country. But today we come together for everything that we stand on, and for those that have served and given the sacrifices, the deployments, the moving around with the families every 3 4 years, all on behalf of the nation. And so today we say thank you to all of the veterans and everyone that has decided and took the oath to serve. And I think one of the things that really stood out to me from this morning, and how they recognized all of the service members that were there, the different services. But the principal made a statement about service, and he explained it to the kids, and it really broke down to how are you able to give your time and talent to serve someone else. And I thought that really stuck with me this morning and really focused in. It was like, serving now for me, leaving the service, and there's a whole nother level of serving more people now outside of just the responsibility that the government or the military or air force in this for this case gave me in regards to what they wanted me to be responsible for. Now I have full open aperture to serve in different capacities. And for me, that's really helping veteran causes and helping individuals outside of just veterans build wealth. That definitely has become my passion, and really helping people and serving in that capacity. And I had the opportunity to go out to participate in the Veteran Voices Summit that was put on by the Hill. They do this initiative in DC every year, so I was fortunate to go down in person this past week. And they had lawmakers that are on the House Armed Services Committee, a couple other veteran organizations. So you had senators and congressmen that were there participating, and really it was an opportunity for those that are on the front line, different veteran-led organizations that impact the lives of veterans, to hear directly from the lawmakers and a lot of the individuals that are championing some of the executive orders that are supporting veterans and the veteran affairs, to really hit home on what the current administration is doing in those areas. So it was really telling to hear some of the stats, and I'm gonna share those with you today. That a lot of times we think about military members and veterans, but when you think about veterans, only 10% of military members that join the military actually leave after 20 years, after serving 20 years, and actually have a full retirement benefits. So 90% that actually serve don't fully retire from the military. And so with that, right now today, one of the stats that one of the congressmen, I think it was Congressman Chrissy Houlihan from Pennsylvania, that she shared that right now, between veterans and active duty members, that is somewhere between 13 to 25% are on SNAP, are receiving food subsidies from the government. And is when you think about that there's members of active duty military right now that don't make enough to be able to put food on the table. And so a lot of times we have a negative stigma when it comes to receiving uh, support from the government and things like that. But there's veterans right now, active duty members right now, that are receiving benefits from the government. And so that's one of the things that really stood out to me, as well as just when we look at the homelessness problem we have in the country. There are a lot of veterans that are impacted by homelessness, as well as around 20 veterans commit suicide each day. That statement, and I knew it was bad. We do a lot on active duty to try to combat that and making sure that we have our buddies back, or we're a good wingman, as we say in the Air Force. But a lot of veterans battle with depression and other factors that drive drive them to suicide, unfortunately. So one of the things today is really to focus in on how can you serve veterans today. That last week being in that room and hearing about the challenges and a lot of the organizations that are trying to help, that there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of service that needs to happen outside of wearing the uniform every day to just make sure that we're taking care of our brothers and sisters that heard the call and took arms and served, whether they served one day or they served 35 years or 40 years. That was something that should be respected. And then let's see how we can come together, work together to find solutions to tackle some of these problems and get after it. One of the other stats that one of the congressmen shared, and I think it may have been Representative Houlihan, but she shared that right now, and she was speaking as a woman veteran and an Air Force veteran, that right now is one of the lowest times in history for where we actually have veterans that are serving in Congress, both the House of Representatives and Senate right now. And so that was one of the things that kind of looked at as well too, with just some of the challenges with having veterans representing inside the political sphere and being able to really champion a lot of these challenging topics that they have to go through and drive legislation and all those things. But definitely today is a great day for all those that serve. My father, was adamant and showed me the way and the benefits of serving and opportunities that came with it. And serving 20 years in the Air Force now and being a veteran status is definitely a blessing. But really, going through the transition into retirement, that there's a lot of work that happens. That the services do a really good job. And I think it was the congressman from California. He talked about we have an emphasis on training when we're coming into the service. We go through basic training, we go through tech school, we give you all the tools to be successful in the military when we bring you in. But can we do more? And we should do more when you're exiting the military, to give you those same amount of different tools that you need to be able to thrive in your next career when you come back out here into the civilian society. So definitely work to be done there. That's one of the passions with REI Genius, with my company. We're helping veterans and professionals build wealth. And one of the great resources that veterans have that they don't necessarily take advantage of is the VA loan benefit and being able to buy a home, which I would say is the foundation of building wealth across the board. When you look at most millionaires and you look at how people build wealth, that the number one asset that individuals own is their home. And so it starts there, and being able to leverage that resource. And one of the things I didn't know until late in my military career was that you can buy a 2, 3, or 4 unit property using your VA loan with no money down and become an instant landlord. And really, it allows you to accelerate that wealth building journey. So that's one thing and we have a ton of free resources out there. So definitely comment below if there's anything you're looking for in that space. There's a ton of resources at johnnylynum.com on my website, a ton of YouTube videos out there that I've placed out there over the years to really help bring those strategies and the information that you need in order to level up in that regard. So a lot of work to be done. At the end of the day, it's a great Veterans Day to get out there, tell a veteran thank you. And if you need help, find the resources that you need as your veteran. You're not out there, you're not alone. There are plenty of organizations and people out here that can be a benefit and help with whatever circumstances that is. That's one thing that I learned last week going down to the Veterans Voices Summit. There's a ton of organizations that's doing the work and getting out here, and there's a ton of work to be done. So everyone be encouraged. Make sure you guys stay locked in. We have tomorrow, the next $1 Million Coffee Hour. Make sure you tune into that every Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern. I'm actually talking about, let's see, what am I going to be talking about? I had my presentation up. Let's see here. And I'm kind of really walking through. We're going to do the networking, but we're actually going to be talking about the biggest retirement blind spots that cost you time, money, and peace of mind. So the biggest retirement blind spots that cost you time, money, and peace of mind. So we're going to be diving into that tomorrow morning on the $1 Million Coffee Hour. Next Tuesday, we're going to be diving in on how to supercharge your 401k, your TSP, your retirement account. And so we're really diving into that on how you can leverage and take advantage of the resources you already have in your government sponsor qualified plan. So for a lot of military federal employees, that's your TSP, but then also, for just normal private companies that you work for, the 401k, and how you can supercharge those. And we're going to talk about some of the asset classes, alternative investments, and the strategies that the wealthy use in order to supercharge those retirement accounts in outside of Wall Street. So we'll be diving into that next Tuesday. And then for accredited investors on next Thursday at noon, we're going to have a couple of the sponsors for some of the opportunities for accredited investors that we have. So if that's you, if you're a accredited investor, shoot me a message. I would love to have a conversation and invite you to those kind of one-on-one sessions that we're going to have and start having more routinely each month to get you plugged in there on some of these alternative investments that you can leverage as you're building wealth. And so with that, you guys have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock at the $1 Million Coffee Hour. Let's go. Let's make some equity happen together and think of veteran.